Namato Ratanatayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello everyone, good evening. Today is Friday the 22nd, of May 2020. As usual, I'm here with you all. And today still I'm outside of the center, just at the front of the center. I'm sitting. And you can see this is a center, and I'm just sitting outside at the front. Hope no rain comes. Yeah. Hi Sanon, hi Manish, hi Colin, Margaret, and Karina. Hi everyone. So first of all, I received the one book that I announced to buy, and that's Anguttara Nikaya has arrived. So I would like to thank you all the contribution, everyone, Ranjani, Manish, Satya and David, for the book contribution. And also I received a few texts, wanted to help buying those books, but because they already received the enough donation, I had to say no for that reason. But again, thank you very much for those donations towards the book. And also thank you very much Professor Dr. Jaya Singh for £100, Naomi for £50, and Carl for £50 towards the renovation of this the ongoing barn that we have just started a week ago, 3-4 days ago. So this is, I would like to take this opportunity, I'd like to thank you for your contribution towards the book, and as well as towards the renovation of the barn. And should you, if you wish to contribute, you're most welcome to contact me or send a check to the center. Meanwhile, I would like to read out, or not reading, just a maybe summary of some of the feedbacks I received. One from Colin as well, regarding the practice and how he was able to notice the desire and how it's dealing with this time of and another also received from a lady from Switzerland, and she is writing in a form of her practice and what she has understood after hearing following the practice. So she was simply saying that able to practice, able to observe the object quite clearly, and meanwhile able to, as she was watching the rising falling of abdomen, she was able to watch the feelings and the mental and then the mind, how the mind was playing and relating to the feelings, and ability to, as she was trying to watch that, concentrating on it, and gradually she was able to let it go. And she was also able to listen as she became more calmer, able to listen her heartbeats, and again she concentrated on heart beating, and later on the heart beating also went away. So, and it's she also further says that it's difficult to explain sometimes, but it's very rewarding for this experience, and all what she said was improving, observing things as they comes. And also received a text from Sarala. She's saying that recent week, it's been a few days that she was not able to follow every night as she did in the past, because she's going back to the work now, but she is saying that she's again listening whenever she is available, and practicing in accordance with it. and she's feeling very grateful to have these guidance online every day. So these are some of the texts and reflections that I received today. So thank you very much for all those reflections and also question as well, which Colin also asked the question, and we have a friendly discussion on message as well. So thank you everyone for that feedbacks, donations and reflections, and also thank you everyone from wherever you are listening every night and coming to join with me every night. So thank you very much. And in Scotland, from next week the lockdown is going to ease, so hopefully despite of easing of a lockdown, we will not be mindlessly wandering around and ignoring all the guidelines that we should be cautious about, and hopefully we will not continue to have the second phase of this virus coming in. And also some of you didn't get the masks that the center posted, and if you still haven't received it, if you're close here at the center, then you can just drop by and ask for a few masks, or if you cannot travel to the center, then just text me and I will post it for you at your home. So thank you very much. And still having a difficulty ordering all the materials that we need for the barn, and hopefully we can sort it out after a week later. And there have been one question asked me as well, that as being a monk, is it not inappropriate to spend more time on the physical work rather than meditation and reading scriptures and chanting like that? So in relation to that, basically if we look at the Buddha's instructions to the monks, one of the very interesting rules for the monk is monks cannot cut the grass, cannot dig the hole, cannot dig the fields, and I think both rules I have violated for a long time ago. Since we moved in here, I have cut so many grasses, so many trees, and I have dug so many holes in the fields. So and if you're very serious with it, I'm sorry, okay? But I have to do that. Meanwhile, we have so many volunteers are here helping out to cut the grass and cut the trees and branches and things. But again, oftentimes I have to do as well, and amongst those who are living here have to do as well. So this is a form of a violation already. But in terms of the constructions, again, there is no violation at all, as long as monks can divide some times for meditation and study and also social work. And again, if you look at the Buddha's instructions, monks should not be involving too much in a social work, but spending more time on self-development and allowing other householders or the community to come and learn kind of a very limited time, so it's like that. But again, we have a very limited resources here, and all the monks are working very hard in terms of the renovation and in terms of developing the center and also community work. For me as well, it's been a long time, many years involving in the community in different forms, and even now still with these activities. But only this lockdown easing or haven't done much outing and helping community in such a way I had in the past. and now I'm just talking on a phone or sort of giving a spiritual counseling and any possible ways helping out. And I'm also thinking of sending a few funds to Nepal to distribute for this lockdown time, because in Nepal it's really tougher than what we see here in the UK. So I'm just thinking and in connection, and now I'm just contacting to my friends and my brothers to find out how can we do that. So this is also part of it, you know. And again, in terms of the work that the monks, it doesn't matter what you do, it's a matter of cleaning and making your mind more purer and purer. As the Buddha said, that the papassarang chittang, papassarang idang chittang, which means our mind is so luminous. So original of our mind, originally our mind is so luminous, and somehow because of these defilements that we have, defilements, entertaining with these senses, not knowing what should be known, then gradually our mind slowly get polluted. And as the mind polluted more and more, then gradually we become so engraved into this worldly matters and more engaged in the greedy and accumulation of the wealth and accumulation of ego and sort of things, and this luminous mind gradually sunk into this darkness. That's why the Buddha instructed us to find out that how luminous our mind is. And he further says that the uninstructed people will not see it as danger, and as a result of that they will not be able to develop their mind. And here uninstructed people simply means that one who hasn't got in connection with the teacher and hasn't got connection with the good techniques and practices, and once that person hasn't got such, then will not be able to develop their mind. But whereas if one has got a good friend, so-called Kalyana Mitta, who knows the path and who knows the technique and willing to help, and so the instructed person will be in that way, and he will be applying the teachings that he had heard and the methods that he had heard, and keep it into practice. And with that, his or that person's mind will be developed slowly, and the mind again gradually become luminous. It's like I think I have mentioned about the piece of paper that we have written so many things every day and every year, and not only the years but also from the past lives. And over the period of that time that we have been writing on that paper, and that's become so dark. And a practice of a meditation with the instruction that we got it from the Kalyana Mitta, a good friend. We simply rubbing it out one after another, and gradually we see this luminous mind. And when the luminous mind develops, as the luminous mind become more and more cultivated towards the development of our mind, this mind gradually whitening or brightening and become a more stable, and with that stability of the mind, what happens is the mind slowly it generates the kindness, loving kindness, and the instruction is such that even just a flicking moment of this finger snap, if in one time, just the one flicking moment of one moment of this mind has pursued towards the development of a loving kindness, this generated this loving kindness, with the mind being stable. And that the pursuit of even shorter moment of the this loving kindness, then there is a possibility of development of the greater mental mental states. And not just the pursuing for the snapping of the finger, but also even just the snapping of the finger, that you have intention to develop this loving kindness, that also reinforces the development of the cultivation of the mind, that again returns to the luminous mind. And it is not just a pursuit that we have developed, but also developed it into the loving kindness, and not just developing the loving kindness one time or another, few times a day, or just like morning or evening times. But if you can make it as a vehicle, and always your mind is into that loving kindness nature and loving kindness state of the mind, then definitely our state of the mind in such a way that's very calmer and peaceful, and also able to attain the so-called absorptions, the higher state of the mind. And once we have attained this higher state of the mind, and that moment we will be able to illuminate all those defilements that prevailed in our mind, and ability to take it out one after another. And in order to do that, again, we need to practice heedfully. If we become a heedlessness towards the cultivation of it, suppose we become a heedlessness towards developing this loving kindness towards one another, then what happens is unwholesome thoughts may arise, simply negative thoughts may arise, and any positive thoughts that we may have, that also slowly decreases or maybe decline. And whereas if we are being mindful and aware and faithfully developing this heedfulness in our minds and our heart, this practice of a loving kindness, then slowly that again the wholesome or positive thoughts will gradually generate towards one another, and any negative thoughts will slowly goes down or decline. And this is why the Buddha said that in the first stanzas on the book called the Dhammapada, one of the famous and most translated book in Buddhism, that mind is the forerunner, mind is the chief, and whoever does, as the mind being the forerunner, whoever does the unwholesome or negative activities, that will follow like a cart of the ox cart will follow, and which is very heavy. And whereas if our mind are not if we are doing any wholesome activity, because having seen that the mind is the forerunner and the chief of every action that we perform, and we are performing with mindfully, so-called heedfully or mindfully or fully aware, then that basically it will be becoming our friend, and it's become a lighter and a brighter, and we can raise our heads everywhere without having any fear, or any sort of a danger. We will be free that way. So that's why the mind is the forerunner, that and as we do with the wholesome thoughts and wholesome deeds, and gradually we are coming back to the luminous mind again, that whatever action we are doing, simply that action is simply to purify the mind that which was deluded, which was diluted and which was dark, and gradually we are purifying it. Gradually we are returning back to this mind, into the luminous mind again. So when we look at this way, any action that we perform, we normally do in 3 ways, no more. Any action we do only 3 things, and nothing more than 3. One, we do by physically, so physical work that we do by physically, and the second work that we do is speaking, so through the verbal speech, and the third we do is simply by thinking, or the mind. So only 3 things we do, and all these 3 things we do only one at a time. And all the matter, what we are knowing, what we should know is that if we are doing with the wrong intention, if we are doing with the wrong attitude, then that brings unhappiness, and that darkens our mind again. But whereas if we are doing with love and kindness, doing with these wholesome deeds, then that gradually helping us to clean our minds and our hearts. It's like I remember when I was a 1-month retreat in Thailand. After 1 month retreat, we went to pay a visit to one of the monks, one of the abbots in nearby, and after we had a friendly conversation, he told us that now you have got the diamond in your hand, the diamond of the teachings, the diamond of the methods. Now it's up to you how to make it more valuable. It's up to you to make it, or just as a diamond which is not purified, or not what is called, I forgot the word in English. The diamond is not purified or make it in a more valuable, then it's up to us. So that's same with our mind too. Once we have known the methods, once we have known the teachings and all the techniques, we have these tools to make this mind brighter and brighter, and that's how our mind will transform it into the luminous mind. Okay, and that's what I meant, that doesn't matter what we do in our day-to-day life, in this time of even the lockdown time. I know that some of many families are struggling to deal with their emotions, and as a result of that, they are behaving and acting so weirdly, and as a result, conflict and fighting and those things are always there. So if we are mindful of these actions and aware of it, we will be able to deal with that, and gradually we can free ourselves, and our mind become more luminous as it was, and gradually we will be able to liberate ourselves. So that is the ultimate goal of the practice. And so we as a monk also are working hard on this path too. Doesn't mean that once you become a monk you know all. Doesn't mean that once you become a monk you are liberated. We still have to work hard too, and just working hard again in many forms. As a monk, we got more responsibility in terms of talking to people and serving to the people, and yet in the meantime we have to spend time for our own development of mind, knowledge, and also social work and these things. So that's why it is not that once you become a monk you are liberated, but we are still working on that too, as you are. So once we have got these methods and teachings, all what we can do is to pursue ourselves to develop this mind, and to developing this cultivation of the mind, and ability to attend again and again in this cultivation. And with this, I believe that we all can achieve happiness, and we all can attain this contentment in this life that we have, and further we can find the spiritual comfort in this life and life after. So I offer this as tonight's reflection on the luminous mind. And if you have been following me and following the guidance, the guided meditation at the 7:30, then I believe that you have seen this luminous mind one or many times, or because of the practice you may have developed this sense of a loving kindness or pursuit of a loving kindness, or some of you may be attending with this loving kindness in everyday life. So this is also as a reinforcement for your practice and understanding the teachings, and to find the real happiness in life. So with this, may you be happy, peaceful, and may the Buddha bless you. Stay safe and take care, and good night. So if you are following for the chanting and meditation, please continue follow. If not, then good night. See you tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you.